back to the Guardians of the Globe. The worst part of this episode was when Rudy said, "Let me fix you," to Monster Girl. I was like, that's ew. I like physically cringed when he said that. Rudy, she does not need you, okay?
Did he gave you the ick?
Yes, I've always had the ick about Rudy, but then and there the ick was solidified. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I love how is I love how in season one, Robot's like this really like enigmatic like personality, and then he has this whole thing on the side where he's like transferring his mind to like a new body that he cloned. And then this season, he's only cares about helping Monster Girl with her condition.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
usually all he talks about now.
yeah, I know. I feel like he has so much more potential.
Yeah. I know Robot is like a pretty significant character in the comics, so I imagine this season it's just like kind of a slower arc for him.
Just
Maybe
sit
definitely a little
just
less interesting than he was in season one,
yeah.
but
We
more to
also
come.
yeah, what'd you say?
I just said more to come like, about Rudy
Oh.
in the future.
We also see and cover some Donald and Rick plot, which I thought,
Speaking of robots, right?
yeah, speaking of robots, man, Donald and Rick.
Yeah.
That
We return to Rick, the show's number one most interesting, most awesome character. And he has this whole nightmare about Sinclair's experiments. And then he's feeling a little
that
sad.
yeah, I mean I get it. I would also feel that way, and I think we s- we see it's just so interesting that it's revealed that Donald in the past has also died many times and he has chosen to erase those memories. And so I see why it's impacting Rick so much because he still has those memories. He knows everything that happened to him. And I know we kind of talked about it a couple episodes ago, like talking about the idea of having the ability to know that you might die and having the option to become like to to have the government put your body back together. Uh,
Yes, yes.
but in this scenario, it was Donald had the option to erase his memories, and he made that choice. So
Mhm.
I understand what Rick's going through. I mean, I haven't been through it, but I can see why he is so upset.
Yeah. My buddy Eric did go through it. And it is kind of it's a lot for someone to have to emotionally process
I can
and
imagine.
physically
You're
process.
such
Yeah.
a good friend for being there.
For Eric,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I am a good friend. Um, he's doing good now. He's fine now. But yeah, so definitely some interesting stuff with Donald. And I think he chooses this time he's like he doesn't choose to have his memories wiped, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or or wait, no, he did because he only found out about the becoming a robot because he like pricked himself in the bathroom and then hacked into Cecil's computer and then found the footage.
No, no, yeah, 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 yeah. But I meant like for this episode, he
Um,
decides not to wipe his memories again, right?
correct.
Yeah,
I think.
because I know he tells Cecil like, all right, just do it again. But then he gets the call
Oh yeah.
from William, and then he talks to Rick, and I'm pretty sure he has like a line where he's like, I decided not
Hmm.
to wipe the memories.
Yeah.
Um, so it is interesting. I'm curious, like if he dies again, Cecil brings him back, and then just repeat the process. I don't know. We touched on it last episode, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. It was really Donald just puts himself on the line, man. He's a real stand-up guy.
He is. I'm starting to really like Donald, honestly.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him.
He's cool. What did Donald's eyes look like?
Oh, I feel like maybe we've seen them before. They're probably beautiful blonde or not blonde, beautiful blue eyes with a glimmer of hopefulness and dreams. That's
Yeah,
what
he might be quite stunning under those glasses.
yeah, maybe
But we'll see. Maybe we'll get a Donald eye reveal. If not next episode, then maybe next
that's all
season.
I need. That's all I need. All the season two finale needs to be is Donald eye reveal, and I'm sold for season three. That's all I
Yeah,
need.
I hope they really tease us and then just deliver.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
They're pretty awesome. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But why don't we talk a little bit about Debbie? Because she has some moments in this. A really nice moment with her and Mark, where Mark asks Debbie what it was like dating Omni-Man, dating Nolan. And she kind of talks a little bit about it and said that it was awesome, like it was dating a superhero, like that was really cool. Um, but that he was gone a lot, obviously, just like Mark is with Amber.
Yeah.
Um,
In the moment of that conversation, I didn't even really connect those dots that Debbie was saying. Is it really a relationship if you're mostly alone? And Amber has been feeling so alone. So really, really important conversation that they just had.
yeah, it is. But I also think someone else that's been feeling really alone is Adam Eve. And
Oh,
she spends a lot of time just kind of sitting in her like treehouse and moping a little bit, having her own like existential crisis. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like she just needs someone to hang out with.
yeah, I think so too. And I think their name rhymes with dark or bark or
Mm.
narc, zark.
Mm.
I don't know though. I just have a feeling. But I really
Probably
I
something like that.
I enjoyed Mark and Debbie's conversation, and I thought it was interesting when Mark asked, like, well, what if you didn't have me and Oliver? Then like what would your relationship be like with Nolan? I don't know, I just feel so bad for Debbie.
Yeah, but she does. Her coworker Paul
That's true.
asks if she wants to do dinner, and she says yes. So I don't know. Things maybe are looking up.
I hope so. And
Yeah,
maybe and we see a little bit more of this Manny. So maybe she is a, I don't know. I won't get my hopes up yet, but she seems like a stand-up gal.
yeah. April. I'm
Mhm.
still on to her for sure, but I don't know. She's so far she's kind of chill though.
Yeah. And I feel like Mark takes the conversation he has with Debbie to heart, and he plans like a nice date with Amber, and we get this big Amber and Mark montage, which was sweet, but kind of boring.
A little boring, a little boring.
But
Um, but I think the most interesting part of this episode um, kind of comes into play right when Mark and Amber are having their seemingly normal
Mhm.
date. When a new Viltrumite named Anissa, who is voiced by, oh God, her name is so long, but Chantel Van Santen.
Good job.
Um, yeah, I think that's maybe right. But she played this character on the CW's The Flash back in like season 2, which is where I first knew her. But more recently, she was in The Boys as Billy Butcher's ex-wife, whose name I am totally blanking on, but she was in that show.
Yeah, I thought that was a incredible reveal. I thought it was so scary. The score they had in the background, I was like really nervous for what was about to happen. So I loved that they just popped her in and we immediately knew that like something was wrong by like the look of Amber's face. So I thought that was a really cool reveal. Um, I don't know anything about Anissa. She just
Mhm.
seems like a bad woman.
She is pretty intimidating in this episode. Um, so so I guess to anyone listening, I mean to the millions of people that are listening, um, we usually mention in each episode that neither of us have read the comics. I know we've kind of both heard some stuff here and there.
I
I've
don't know
definitely
how
like
to
read a
read.
little bit. Yeah, I mean, reading is definitely it's something we're both kind of working on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit it's a little bit of a challenge. It's a work in progress for sure. Um, like if it was all like the comics were just the pictures, just the artwork, then I feel like I could easily do it. But there are a lot of words, so I think it's just about kind of working up to it. But in the comics, Anissa essentially, I think it happens later, like a good amount later in the general like Viltrumite War plotline.
Mhm.
Um, but her character actually sexually assaults Mark.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
What?
it's like one of probably the most controversial
Oh my
thing that
God.
happens in the whole like comic storyline, which is kind of like the only reason I really know. It's because like if you just kind of slightly fall down an Invincible rabbit hole online, then you'll find it pretty quickly.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah. So that's why I wasn't sure like when that's gonna happen. I don't even know if the show
Yeah,
will
I'm really
depict
curious.
that. I think because I'm pretty sure the comics were made in like the 2000s,
Huh.
or early to mid 2000s. I don't know like how long it went on for, but I think it was conception. It started in the 2000s. Um,
Wow.
so I don't know. I feel like as we're kind of in the mid 2020s, I feel
Hmm.
like the show might stray away from it, depicting
Yeah.
it, or even like having it happen at all. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
I don't know. That's so crazy. I had no idea. Um, but it makes me think about because we brought it up, the boys, because the boys is also a really crazy show and pushes a lot of boundaries. And I mean, we've seen like Starlight kind of go
Yeah,
through a similar situation. So I don't know, it's really interesting and I'm curious to see what they will and if they do incorporate it at all. Um,
yeah,
I feel like there's a way, I don't know. I don't know. It's a very gray area that can go bad really quickly.
yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I was a little worried, like, because again, I didn't really know when I was watching the episode, like how early or not that happened. So I was like, man, like, does it happen like now? Like, is this when does he just come down and that's what happens? But thankfully, no. And instead, the two, well, should they kind of have a conversation? And this basically points out that the Viltrumites coming and ruling Earth would benefit humans. I know earlier in the episode we mentioned like the climate, um, rain and whatnot. But she points out that the Viltrumites have the technology to repair Earth's climate for the people, for the humans, as well as feed the hungry. And then she says that Viltrumites don't just don't just kill for no reason.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I thought it was an interesting moment in the episode and in the season, and I'm curious if what you think about her argument. Like, do you think maybe the Viltrumites could do some good?
I don't know. I it's it's such a hard and interesting conversation because in a way, like they do make a good argument. And I think I don't think she's lying. Like I do think they have like the capabilities to repair the climate or feed the hungry, all of that. I just think it's the consequences of it, of killing millions and millions of people to first accomplish that. Um,
Mm,
I don't, and I feel like for a moment, you kind of don't know which way Mark is gonna go because I think she like presents this argument to him and he has this like moment of silence to himself and you're like, oh, like, is he convinced?